Imagine a gender equal world, a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination, a world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world where difference is valued and celebrated. Together, we can forge women's equality. Collectively, we can all break the bias. Hello everyone, I'm CA Shreya Gupta, practicing chartered accountant and professor at Paro University. Today is 8th of March and it is widely celebrated as International Women's Day. This year the theme is Break the Bias, and what better than celebrating this day with an interaction with a strong and bold lady who has been successfully breaking the biases throughout her journey and is still continuing to do so. Meet our special guest for the day, Ms. Pragnya Mohan, an inspiration to. It's a matter of pride and sheer privilege to introduce her, though she doesn't require one. Pragnya Mohan is Ahmedabad-based chartered accountant and international athlete. She represents India at international triathlon events. She is the current South Asian and Indian triathlon champion. In May 2019, she became the first Indian ever at Triathlon World Cup. She has also won gold medals at both the South Asian and national games. In last couple of years, she has trained and competed across continents in Asia, Australia and Europe. She is currently training for the 2024 Paris Olympics. Triathlon is a sport in which the race comprises of swimming, 1500 meters, followed by 40 kilometers of cycling, and it's finished with 10 kilometers of running. This needs tremendous stamina and expertise in all the three sports. She loves adventure sports and is a trained paragliding pilot too. Amazing. For her sports achievements, she was conferred with the Gujarat state's top sports honor, the Eklavya Award, in the year 2015. She has, over the last 20 years, won 500 and more medals, including 128 state championship medals. She has been awarded the Women Achiever Award at various forums, including the Ahmedabad branch of ICAI. She has also been awarded the Best Athlete Award of Ahmedabad University and Sports Girl of the Year at LIC College. Pragna has been able to balance her academics with sports successfully, a good science student till 12th standard. She now is a qualified chartered accountant of India. As a CA student, she made research paper presentations in 8 national and international conventions, even winning a Best Paper Presenter award. She was also selected by ICI for international conventions in Sri Lanka and Pakistan. She was facilitated by the Melbourne branch of ICAI 2020, where she was training for her sport. She's a public as well as a motivational speaker. She has given TEDx talks at IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Bangalore. Alongside, she has given motivational talks at CA National Student Conventions at Chennai, Surat, Rajkot, Prayagraj, and Tirupur. She's also in the Indian Triathlon Federation's committee to popularize the sport nationwide. Her life story was covered in a book, Nightingales 2.0, How 11 Women Showed Grit, Guts, and Gumption, written by Chennai-based well-known CAs Patabhai Ram and Sivakumar R. She has recently qualified to represent India for Asian Road Cycling Championship 2022 to be held in Tajikistan from 25th to 29th March. She's also qualified in the Indian team road cycling at the Asian Games 2022 to be held at Hangzhou, China from 10th to 25th of September. This is the highest achievement for any cyclist from Gujarat. So I welcome you, Pragnya, and it's been a sheer privilege and honor to be introducing you. Thank you so much for your time, and I invite you and would like you to say a few words.
Thank you so much. That was a very elaborate introduction. And thank you for having me on this podcast. I hope that through my words and actions, I could inspire, even if I could inspire a single woman to take up sports or do something that they are passionate about, it would serve the purpose of being here.
Yeah, you inspire so many, not one. So, see, you chose a profession chartered accountancy, and this profession is believed to be a male dominated one in various respects, even today. And on top of that, you were inclined towards sports, which is again, known for being biased with females for various reasons that you know better. So you have been successful in both the careers. And how did you face those biases, and how did you break the biasness?
So I have faced some, the biases that we are speaking about. But having said that, I also want to point out this is a very interesting fact about triathlon, that it's the first sport that is gender neutral. That means that there are no discrimination in terms of distances, in terms of prize money, in terms of
Oh,
events that are held for men and women. Everything is equal, and this is not in the recent past that has happened. It is through the initiation, the triathlon federation worldwide had decided that there will be no discrimination. And even it gives me immense pride that in chartered accountancy at the moment we have over 40% CA students who are girls. So I think we are coming to a more gender equal world as we speak. But having said that, obviously there are biases that I have faced. I'll want to share one incident that happened in particular. This was in 2015, and as you mentioned, that I am from Ahmedabad, and I was cycling. In road cycling, what happens is that our speeds are pretty high, and the
yeah.
braking powers are pretty low. So I was cycling on the ring road in Ahmedabad, where I usually train when I'm in the city, and there was a car that overtook me and just stopped. It overtook me and just stopped in front of me. I didn't have the time to brake, and so I crashed into the car. I went underneath it, and then there was like a group of people who came there for the accident location. वहां पर a lot of people had a lot of advices to give, and there were comments like, in cycling we wear very aerodynamic clothing, so that means that they're very tight and they're body hugging. So a lot of
Yeah.
people had to say that, I had unsanskari clothes. If I want to wear such clothes and be on the roads, I should rather be only cycling inside my house, in the four walls of the house. Then, if I'm doing something like this, then I deserve to be hit. And I was the one bleeding, and I'm sure that, my tiny body or my delicate cycle could not have done much harm to that car. But this was what was going on, and okay, I don't get affected much by these. But there are instances like this. Then every time, whenever you cycle on the road or you go running on the road alone, there are people who follow you. There are cat calls, especially during the dark times, and we generally start early in the mornings to avoid traffic. So
Yeah.
there are things like that. Then there are biases like, offbeat careers like sports is a totally offbeat career, unconventional career, especially in India. So offbeat choices, any which ways, they are not very proactively supported by any people. But being a woman sports person and also being a chartered accountant and being a sports person is not accepted in the society that easily. And a lot of people have made comments like, ये तब तक करे जब तक शादी नहीं हो जाती, कोई एलिजिबल बैचलर नहीं मिल जाता. And so it's not looked as a goal oriented
Yeah.
effort or a pursuit to achieve something. It is rather seen as, passing of time until you achieve the goal of marriage, being of a
Yeah.
marriageable age. Then there are things like, we get tanned when we practice outdoors and we are under the sunlight a lot of times. So and then there is this obsession with fairness that we have in India. So all that things gets accumulated, but I am very fortunate that my immediate family, my parents, my brother, they're very supportive of all the endeavors that I undertake. So some of the things I think they don't even let it to come to me. They take it and they don't let it affect me. So I think I'm very fortunate in that sense. And then, like, I think that is what it is. And you have to have thick skin as a girl if you want to go ahead in anything.
I think this shows that you were truly inclined towards it, and you knew that you have to do this no matter what. And I was to ask you about whether your family readily supported you or not. But as you said, yes, they supported you. So, do you feel and believe that family support is very much required, to keep you ahead? Because alone, a woman, of course, she has all the strength and boldness enough to move forward. But I think the support of our immediate family members and the close ones is also required at some points.
I totally agree. I think without a support group of people, no one can reach anywhere, be it at the top or climbing the ladder. I think it is very important. And apart from going from one place to another, it is also important in terms of your mental strength. I think sports is looked at as a physical strength activity, but I think it is more to do with the mental
Yes.
aspect. Like mentally you have to be ready to take on the load, to endure that kind of pain. So I think mentally a support group is definitely essential. And as you know, as the Indian society and Indian community, we have a lot of influence of our immediate family and immediate circle on the decisions of our life. So I think if they are not supportive, it's very, very difficult, almost impossible for a woman to come out, and especially in the sports field, to achieve anything big.
I think the road that we have taken is not a conventional one. Not too many. I don't know. I searched for some names on Google that is there any other female chartered accountant who's also into sports. I could find one or two, but then I think still it is not so common for a CA female student to go into sports and not only just join that field but also become so successful. Like India as a country is proud of you now today. So hats off to your mental strength as well. As you said, that mental health is also equally required. And so today, so many players in Olympics also, they just withdrew themselves because they were not feeling mentally well. So where do you see yourself 10 years from now in sports?
I think I have some goals, immediate goals and long-term goals that I've mapped out for myself. So I think the immediate goal being going to the Olympics in 24, doing well in the Asian and the Commonwealth Games, which are in 22. And apart from that, the long-term goal is to be fit, to enjoy the journey, and to put in efforts. And I think as I will achieve the goals that I've already mapped out for me, and go closer to those, I think I'll put in more efforts, make more bigger goals, audacious goals. I think then the pursuit of the goal itself becomes very fulfilling.
Yeah.
So I think I in sports in 10 years, i I think I'll be doing triathlons. Maybe the distances will be different. Maybe I'll be
Yeah.
gunning for an Ironman then. Right now I'm doing Olympic distance. So I think could be different goals, but I think I'm not going to leave triathlon.
Amazing. So you have come a long way, and still there's a long way to go. What strengths do you think helped you to achieve this success, and what helps you also to move ahead? What strengths do you feel are required for a lady like you who is a chartered accountant as well as into triathlon, which is not a very common sport? And as I read about you that you are also creating awareness about that sport because not too many people know about this something called triathlon. So, what strengths do you feel have helped you to achieve this?
I think the most important strength that I feel that I have is consistency.
Hmm.
Because if you're consistently at something, it repays you. I think, especially for triathlon, it's very true that although I became the national champion within 1 year of starting it, I had a lot of sports background. I was a swimmer in school, I used to run in school, and I continued it till I became the national champion. And obviously, after that, also I've continued it. So I think consistency has been the main player in my performances, in the increase in the performances, in doing better. And apart from that, I think I've developed a resilience. There are many a times we have injuries, we have accidents. I've had a lot of road accidents, like I mentioned, the one in Ahmedabad. I've had various, like I have surveyed the hospitals of Australia, Spain. My brother jokes that I am getting into this profession of surveying and comparing medical facilities across world. So I've done all that. like I have been through that. I didn't want to do it, but I have developed a kind of resilience to this, and the to bounce back from injuries, from events that are not actually helping me proceed further. And then I have learned that consistency and giving it time is important. It won't come overnight. Like Messi's famous dialogue is there, that I became an overnight success after putting in 26 years of work. So it never happens overnight. It has to be a long term process, and you have to give it time.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things that, if someone is looking forward to, even in being in any passion or in any profession, even in CA, if you are working in a company and you want to be in the leadership board, it is not going to happen overnight. Or if you are starting your own practice and you want to become something like an MNC, it won't happen overnight. You have to give it those 15-20 years of effort and dedicated hard work. So I think that is true for any field. So I think that is the key to success.
Yeah. Right, right. So resilience and consistency, I think, is the key. If
Yes.
you want to achieve any goal, be it in sports or
Right.
whatever you are
Yes.
doing, these two are really,
Right.
really important. Right. So I can see a lot of confidence in you. I can see so many good qualities that people at such a young age don't usually have. You are younger to me as well. And I can still see that you are so self confident, and I can see that power in you. So, do you have any role model in your life? Somebody who has, guided you silently, or you have grown up watching that person play or something like that?
So obviously, my parents are my role model. My father, my mother. Although my mom is a homemaker, but she has inspired me in her own ways. The
Yes.
qualities that she carries. My father being, a mentor to me since my early childhood. And obviously, I have a mentor. He was the director of my school. His name is Sunil Handa. So he has been a mentor throughout my schooling, and even now he's a mentor. So I have had people who have played a very vital role in bringing that up and getting to opportunities. It's not very easy to identify opportunities on your own,
Yes.
especially when you are just growing up. So there have been people involved who have shown me this is the opportunity, so I need to work towards grabbing that opportunity. So there have been a lot of people like that. I think it'll take entire day to mention everyone here. So it is very important to have role models, to have people who support you through your
Mhm.
endeavors. And if you ask me, in sports, I do have a role model, but I haven't met her yet. Her name is Gwen Jorgensen. She happens to be a USA triathlete, and she was the
Oh,
Olympic champion in 2016 and the world champion in 2014 and 15. She is my role model because she changed the game of triathlon for women. She brought the timings down drastically, and she happens to be a CPA in US, which is equivalent to a CA in India. And
yeah.
she and me have a lot of things in common. Like, she worked in EY. I did my articleship partly
From
in EY.
yes,
And then she is a CPA, I'm a CA, she is a triathlete,
a
and
lot
she
of
took up
similarities.
triathlon pretty late. Yes, and then she was a swimmer during her high school years and college years. I was a swimmer, so there's a lot of similarities. And her mindset, the kind of approach she has towards the game, is pretty similar to what I have. So I think I'm pretty influenced by that, and the way that she speaks, the way that I've only seen her through the web. So I think I actually connect to what she has to say about the sport and life in general.
Amazing. So, of course, um, you prove that without a role model, of course, you can push yourself to some extent, but then you need somebody who constantly supports you, and that's a positively. And
Right,
even
true. I think having mentors in your life is extremely important because,
I think,
yeah, they can see something that you can't from the
yeah.
inside.
So I think even CA students, those who are into chartered accountancy, they should also take this very seriously, because when I was a CA student, I never knew that. there's somebody called mentor, something called mentoring, and we have to go to them and just discuss what should we be doing after clearing this profession, and what after passing on the exam of CA. And very
Right.
few know that having a mentor since the very beginning, how it can change your career and change your life. So some people come to know about the importance of mentors only after they fail somewhere, or their careers are not going so well. Then they approach people, the experts of their fields, and then I think it's too late. So it's very important also to choose your mentors very beginning, at a very early stage in your life.
Yeah, true. I think because if you choose them early and they've seen you grow, so they know
Yes.
in and out of you, and then they know how you handle situations, different kinds of situations, be it positive, negative, neutral. So I think it's very important to have mentors, and you can have multiple. It's not
Yeah,
necessary
of
that you
course, of
stick
course.
to one. So I think it's very important to have mentors or coaches for that matters.
So yeah, because Robin Sharma, who is again a great motivational speaker, he also keeps saying that you should have at least five coaches or mentors to guide you in different aspects of life. Wonderful. So before we end this session, I want to ask, what advice would you give to your listeners? Because students and people from different professions, different age groups would be watching you, especially females, of course, because we are doing it on Women's Day. But I want to ask you, what advice would you give to all the listeners that are listening, that would be listening to you?
So for females specifically, I would advise that try to be financially independent. If you're financially independent, you have control of the decision, the critical decisions of your life. Secondly, don't just like cling on to the male counterpart in your life, or just don't make your life revolve around your male counterpart, be it your father, brother, boyfriend, husband, anyone. They should not be the center of your life. You should be the center of your life. And I think, yes, take charge of decisions of your life. No one else should have the power to have the final decision. They can influence your decision, but the final decision maker has to be you. And to the CA students or any kind of students that are watching this, I would want to say that I did my articleship or the internship that we do for 3 years in this CA course. I did 1 year in EY, that is an MNC that is considered to be, the best place to do your articleship in. And but then it somewhere hampered my sports career, and I went down in ranking from being the number one in India to number six within 6 months. And it took me another 6 months to realize that, this firm is not working for me. And as a 19-year-old, I was getting all the five-star luxury, all the cars, all the fancy things that it had to offer me. But I took the hard decision of not continuing and going for a medium-sized firm. So I think some things which are good for everyone might not be good for you, so you make your decisions based on your situations, not on what other have to say. And the second thing I want to tell this specifically to CA students, a lot of CA students think that coaching is mandatory. It is not. You have to take a decision based on your needs and your, the performances that you have shown in the past, based on your 12th result, your consistency in school, that you can take a decision whether you want to go for coaching or not. Because if you see the amount of time you spent in coaching, it's huge. So I did not take up coaching because my priorities were clear that I want to pursue sports. I had to do articleship, I had college, everything combined didn't leave me time for coaching. So you decide based on your situation, just don't follow the crowd. So and for people in general, enjoy life, like enjoy the journey. I think journey is more important than reaching the destination, because once you reach the destination, then what? So enjoy the journey to the fullest.
Yeah, all right. So it was, and what's your life mantra? Like, are there any quotes or anything that you specifically follow, or where do you draw your strength from? I asked you about your strengths, that consistency and resilience, but how do you draw strength from? Sometimes failures, they break you. But what is your life mantra that always pushes you forward?
I think there are times when I'm low. I should not say that I'm human too. So there are times that I just don't want to go on that road or go to the swimming pool to train. And I just don't feel like, my sports is getting somewhere. There are times I break down. But like I mentioned, there are a support group of people. I have an entire, and thankfully there are wonderful people that I surround myself with, and I've had the opportunity to collect through these years. So they actually encourage me, like the mentor that I say, spoke about. He, even if I come last in all the races, or I don't even I get disqualified in any races, he is the first person. He would say, you've done wonderfully well, at least you showed up at the start line. So people like that who encourage you. So I think it's very essential to have that kind of support group. And sometimes self motivation does not work. Sometimes,
Yes.
like I like to train in groups. I go to foreign lands to train because, essentially, because I get a group to train with. Because a group training, even on days I don't feel like training, I'm like, okay, my friends are going to come, so I better show up. So
Yeah.
things like that add up. And my life mantra would be, I don't know, enjoying the journey and doing what I
Yeah.
like to do, and taking breaks in a while. Like,
Yeah.
it's important
That's
also to take breaks, because mind and body gets exhausted doing the same things. A lot of my friends think, I'm doing sports, I'm doing physical activity, I'm fit, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm enjoying it all. I am enjoying it, but then in a year's time, I think there are at least 15 to 20 days where I don't enjoy it. So I take those breaks, and I know
yeah.
that a lot of my performance depends on coming back. Like I
Yeah.
said, consistency. It's not about taking one day break, it won't hamper it much, but coming back, it should not happen that I continuously do it for 6 months and then I take a break of 1 year. That
Yeah.
will break my consistency. So in spite,
Yeah.
I take, like, every month I take 2 days off completely. I don't even go outside the door. I sit, enjoy, binge eat and stuff like that, so that I'm okay with the entire situation.
So, Pragna, it was wonderful talking to you. I can't stop asking you more questions, but yes, time is a constraint, and I really wish that the CA students are able to see you face to face and they are able to interact you very soon. So we'll work on this, that we are able to see you face to face and talk a lot more about your journey. Whatever you have said up till now, I think it's so inspiring that I'm sure those who will listen to you, they will definitely get inspired. They will take some control of their life, and they will start taking wise decisions as you did. So thank you so much. It was wonderful interacting with you.
Thank you so much, Shreya, for having me here. And you are doing wonderfully well. I mean, you are invested in WICASA, you are a professor,
Yeah.
you are a CA, you have your own practice. So it's inspiration to meet
Yeah.
a woman like you, like doing diverse and having so many roles.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I
Thank
wish
you
you
so
all the
much.
very best for all your upcoming ventures and see you very soon. Take very good
Thank
care
you
of
so
your health.
much.
Bye bye.
Yes.
And happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
See you very soon. Bye bye.